Hi, Eric Gibaud, Gibaud.com, and today, thanks to photosfera.com, I'm going to present you the Canon EOS R7. So, let's start. I actually present you my small dog. Her name is Dakota, and this is a Maltese, okay? Gives you an idea of the size of the camera or the dog. We're not sure, okay? So this is my little model. You will see her in more videos, obviously. So let's carry on. I didn't have the chance yet to test this R7 up to now, but I did make a video when the R7 and R10 came out just to speak about the strategy of Canon, and I thought it was really good news for them, okay? So here's the link to that video. I can't remember what I said then. I have not watched it again, okay? So we can have a look at it and see if I was right or not. So now we're going to have a look at the camera, okay? Actually, there are so many videos about this camera that it's not motivating to speak of each feature or what it does, all this, because you can see there are thousands of videos about this, okay? So after such a long time it exists, what many people ask me is, Eric, I don't want to hear about the specs. Well, the main one, yes, obviously, but not all in details. Anyway, you can check on Canon website, but the way you feel about this camera in your hand, is it thought for pro, for amateur, how do you feel about it, all this. So we're going to speak about this, although I made many pictures, I show them to you, and I give my opinion, but still I will speak about feeling, okay? What I read most about people complaining about this camera is the fact there is no vertical grip available, okay? Honestly, some people want it because they have a better grip, also horizontal, but my small finger doesn't fall underneath really like this. It doesn't fall that easy, okay, no problem. So for me, if it's for better horizontal use, all this vertical grip, you don't need it, okay? If you make many vertical pictures, well, maybe for you, but honestly, for me, this is not a downside of this camera. It doesn't check it out of my buying list just because of this grip story. Honestly, this camera is a lot more than this, and people reduce the fact that you cannot use it as a pro because you cannot put a grip. That's nonsense to me, okay? That's my opinion, okay? So that was the most negative point I read on social networks and YouTube, okay? But honestly, that's not a reason for me to not to buy it, okay? This is a mirrorless camera, RF/RFS mount, APS-C format. Maybe you know that Canon has two lines of RF lenses. The RFS are thought for APS-C, and the RF that are for full frame and APS-C, okay? And it has a sensor of 32.5 million pixels. According to Canon, this is not the same sensor as the 90D. I don't know, I think the image quality is really similar, but the image quality was already very good on the 90D, so I cannot say, okay, if they say it, well, we will have to believe them, okay? It can do 15 frames per second in mechanical shutter and 30 frames per second in electronic shutter, okay? I'm telling you the main feature that Canon is actually displaying on their page as the most important things, okay? So I want to check this first, okay? It has a great thing, it is IBIS, image stabilization in body, image stabilization, 7 stops, and if you use one of the lenses, have the APS-C lenses, some of them have their own stabilization. If you combine both, get 8 stops, okay? It has dual pixel autofocus version 2, and it does video 4K 60 frames per second, and you can also stream to YouTube directly, okay? These are what Canon seems to say are the main features. Honestly, this camera for me is like the successor of the 90D and the 7D. Maybe it's not as good in some point with this as the 7D, but it's a lot better in many other points. And yes, it's some kind of halfway between 7D and 90D, and yes, it has many things that 90D hasn't got. Okay, yeah, I would fit this camera in there in a mirrorless format. Okay, a mirrorless system. Yes, successor of the 7D and the 90D together. Okay. So before getting into more technical info, let's check the camera. Okay. Well, the size, I think it's okay for me. Maybe if you have a lot bigger hands, that's not the camera for you. Okay, not just this camera, but this type of camera or this range of camera. Maybe you need a higher level. I'm not sure. Okay, but for me that's fine. Okay, the 2 points maybe, or the 3 points that are a bit different, or I could maybe complain. I checked a video on DP review, and after I wrote all my stuff here, okay, and actually Jordan was complaining. Now he's in Petapix. They are both Chris Nichols and Jordan. They are on petapixel, okay, but he was complaining that this wheel here, when you have the aperture here, or you can put the speed, you set it as you want, but here you have the joystick in the center, and for him he said it was a problem because he was moving the joystick and also it was moving the aperture. I didn't have the problem, honestly, but I understand what he says, that some people, they may accidentally move easily the aperture this way. That's possible, okay. And here, something he complained, I agree, I had the problem once, okay. The switch on is off, then picture, then video. If you don't actually take care, if you move on too fast, then you're on video and you thought you were on picture, okay. You're on photos, again, you're on video, okay. And then the last one, they don't put a lock here on the wheel, the mode wheel, okay. And normally on this range of camera, Canon puts a small lock. That would be good, so you don't accidentally move it, but well, that's okay. If we look at the button, well, this wheel that was before here, okay, now it's here, okay. Yeah, not much problem like for me, okay. That's well placed, okay. You have the diopter here, okay. I noticed that when you look at the viewfinder could be better probably. But for me, I'm not a good judge for viewfinders, because actually for me it's just for framing. I have datas in there. I don't need to see as if it was an open window, okay, that's fine to me. But I did notice that with my glasses here, if I've got light sideways this way, it hits the eye detect and it would jump forward and backward to switch the EVF and then the screen, because the thing is my eye is not there, but it is, okay. So yeah, that could be the only problem I had with this. The screen is orientable and fully touchable. The buttons, several, are actually configurable. You set them as you want. They're fine, okay. Now here, one thing is important. You have double slot for memory card, UHS-2, so it's really good for people who do wedding or any social photography that they cannot repeat. So really good, or reportage, whatever, press, whatever, okay, really good. If we look at the connectivity, here you have a microphone jack, here you have a remote control. I don't know why brand they still put remote control connectors, because actually with the app from your smartphone you can actually remote control, well, yeah, trigger, I don't know, okay. And here you have HDMI open here, okay. You have a micro HDMI, you don't have a full HDMI, and I know that people who do a lot of videography, they want to have the full shot, okay. Then USB-C, and then here you have the headphone jack, okay. So for someone who wants to make video, that's fine, has everything they need, okay. Here I like that you have switch for manual and autofocus with the depth of field place here, button here, and that's it. Here you have the battery door, that's it, here it is. Obviously you will not be able to have two batteries because you cannot have a grip on there, okay, but still I think this camera is nice in my hand. It's not too big, not too small. For many people who have two cameras at the same time working, one on the hanging from the neck and the other one in the hand, okay, that's good to have so many features in something that is not too big. I really like that, okay. If we look at the flash, as you can see, there is no integrated flash. That is typical for this range of camera, okay. And here if we look at the hot shoe, Here you have the central connector, so you could use it for any with any flash that is not specific to Canon in manual mode, obviously, and no high sync and no TTL, okay? But if you want to have the full shot of Canon feature, ETL 2, there you have special connectors, as you can see there. So you will need for that a compatible flash or trigger for that, okay? But that gives you an idea, okay? Mr. Fujifilm, OM System, I don't know who else, Sony, maybe Nikon, I'm not sure. Learn from Mr. Canon. They still put in the box a charger, a proper charger. Yeah, this one you can actually remove the battery, place it in the charger, and keep shooting or making video or photography with a second battery. They still put a real charger in the box. So learn from Mr. Canon. Congratulations, Mr. Canon. Thank you. If we speak about the ISO, in photography, native up to 32,000 ISO, and you can force it to 51,200, and in video up to 12,200, and you can force it to 25,600. I don't even bother to show you the picture. All cameras do the same right now, honestly. I think they're clean up to 6400 in photography and still very usable at 12,800. I think similar to the 90D, honestly, but that's fine, okay? I think it's okay for most people, and I don't know why some people claim they want more, okay? Honestly, okay? I'm not a good judge for that, okay? So for me, the ISO are fine. Really important, the processor is Digic 10. What does that mean? Well, this is one that came after the number 9 and before the number 11, okay? Honestly, it doesn't matter if you don't know what the number 9 did. The number 10 it goes okay. That's it. Don't bother with this kind of data. They always want to stress the point on. Doesn't matter. It works, okay? It's fast. Let's speak about size. Yes, size matter when we speak about camera. Maybe for the things also we speak about camera here, okay? 132 millimeter by 90.4 by 97 by 0.7, okay? The weight with one battery and SD card, I don't know if 1 or 2 SD card, I'm not sure, okay? 612 grams, I think that's fine, the weight, okay? You have in there sensor cleaning, that's really good. And one thing that is important, this is not plastic. There are some parts that are plastic, but this is magnesium. So you see the range of camera. This is not entry level. This is already something a lot better, okay? And it is weather sealed, by the way, okay? Dust proofed and weather sealed, okay? The autofocus, 651 areas. 5,915 position for pictures. That's completely crazy. With one, I'm really happy. Okay, so I cannot judge on that. I can say it works really good. Okay, really well. Okay, you have eye, face, head, body detection, some animals, some vehicle. What many people, many brand are putting right now. Okay, so many position for pictures. I don't. Okay, it must be easy to put because everyone is putting it right now, okay? All I can say is the autofocus works really fine. I liked it, it worked, okay? If we speak about the flash, as I said, you don't have any integrated flash, but when we look at the sync, 1/250th of a second in mechanical shutter, and if we look at the electronic shutter, I was surprised, it's pretty high, 1/320th of a second on the first curtain, which is good. So yeah, it surprised me, okay? The system is ETTL Mark II, although I always use manual mode, doesn't matter. You have this, if you need this info, it's there, okay? Obviously, you have high sync also, okay? One thing I really like about Canon is, although this camera is of a more advanced level, okay? They still have the guided menu, for example, that here, when I move this here, it will guide me, okay? The menu can be this way, or you can have the classic menus if you want, okay? So that helps you when you start, okay? And also they still have the mode like portrait, landscape, all this. So someone who would buy this camera without having much knowledge of photography, he could start, she could start using it, learning with the guide, learning how to use it, having some preset, all this. and still enjoy the camera, although that person at that moment is still a bit lost in photography. So I like that Canon still put that in more advanced cameras. I think that can be useful for many people. Okay, if we speak about image format, RAW file in 14 bits, yeah, it's not just full frame, that's 14 bits, APS-C cameras also. Then you have JPEG 8-bit and HEIF in 10 bits. Okay, so regarding this, no complaint, that's okay. Regarding the battery, it's strange that an LCD uses less power than a viewfinder. Okay, but well, with the LCD 770 shots, okay, and with the viewfinder 500 shots. Obviously I would like to have it a bit more, obviously, but yeah, when we start to go over the 500, that starts to be okay. Yeah, I wish it was more, but that's okay. That's not bad for a mirrorless camera. Okay, let's speak a bit about video. It does 4K 60p, 50, 30, 25 and 24, and it also has Canon Log 3 for people who color grade their footage in post-production. That's great. 4K, you have two types. You have the fine type that is up to 30 frames per second, but in this case it does actually 7K. Then it actually downgraded, or I don't know what you call that, okay, resample it, okay, that's right, resample, down to 4K, okay, but you have the highest quality. And in Full HD you can go up to 120 frames per second for ultra slow motion, okay, so really good for what it offers, I think. Well, my conclusion, yes, it's true, this is not exactly the successor of a 7D. I think the 7D is probably better built, it looks more solid, you have the grip option, but still, this camera offers many things that are not in the 7D, and I think it's good news. But still, Mr. Canon, your 7D fans are still waiting for the real, true mirrorless 7D, okay? I hope one day you'll get it, okay, you make it, okay? Yes, it's a good successor of the 90D, I think. It offers more things. Yeah, that's probably good. I like the way it feels in my hand. That was fine, okay. The button, you can set all this. It's true, the small wheel on the joystick, for some people it will be a problem. For me, it was not really, okay. Same with the switch, all this. Yes, the EVF could be a bit better. It's the same EVF as on the R10. I think on this range, they could have put something a bit better, okay. And one thing I didn't say, I didn't show either, in video maybe there's a bit of rolling shutter, yeah, in some situations, so yeah, take it into account, depend on the kind of video you would like to do, okay. Fine for vlogging, really nice. So the big question is, this camera costs around 1600 euros, okay. What is its competition? Well, really, Nikon doesn't have the equivalent. And then you will have to look in APS-C at Fujifilm, the X-T5, but the X-T5 is more expensive. But then you cannot just look at the body, okay? Compare the full shot, because Canon has a lack of APS-C lenses for RF mount. So it means you would probably buy some full frame lenses for this camera and pay the premium price. So maybe you need to calculate the whole thing. Maybe you're better off getting a Fujifilm X-T5 or not, depends. And take into account that the X-T5 is about 300 euros more expensive. And also you have more advanced video, 8K, okay? But well, it's just an idea, okay, if you're not sure. But I guarantee that if you like Canon, you will love this camera. Honestly, the lack of grip for me is not no buyer, okay, no problem. I've been a user of Canon cameras for during many years. I don't use them anymore, but I used them for many years. And honestly, although I don't use them anymore, I really like this camera. I think it's a great Canon camera, and many people will probably love it. So yeah, I think it's completely recommendable. Okay, so if you're interested, I'll leave you a link in the description where you can buy it. Thank you so much, Photosula, for lending me the camera. Thank you to you for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The small button down here is a small bell. If you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. I'll also leave you links of my gear on Amazon, links of everything I reviewed by K&F Concept, Sandmarc and Flashes by Westcott, more affiliated links, and also a link to my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.